Some of the folks that see me regularly have given me the nickname Pirate Steve. I think they call me Pirate Steve because of my eye patch. Also, probably because I drink a lot of rum. The funny thing is, I don't think they realize that I actually consider myself to be a real pirate. I've never sailed the sea or been in a sword fight. I did, however, dress as a pirate for 12 consecutive Halloweens. I've read more literature about pirates than anyone. I also, at one time, had quite the collection of old pirate artifacts. The only thing I have left today is an 18th century flintlock pistol. Tonight, I'm going to use it to kill a man. TJ Anderson is his name. The man took my wife, my home, my job, and my eye. I've never killed anyone before. I'm not crazy either. Any pirate in my shoes would kill this man without giving it two thoughts. I, however, have given it many thoughts. I've thought about it every day for the last 13 months. TJ lives in suburbia, which is roughly 20 miles north of the city. For me, it's about a 5-hour walk. If I leave now, he will be at home asleep by the time I get there. It's important that he is asleep when I get there. I listen to a lot of talk radio when I'm underneath the bridge. It helps keep me connected to the world I used to live in. I keep thinking of a program that played a couple of weeks back that talked about revenge. It said that the anticipation of revenge makes the average person feel good. However, the actual act of revenge will make a person feel worse than they did before. It made me think about the happiness of the average pirate. If what talk radio says is true, then there were a lot of unhappy pirates. Either way, no radio program is going to talk me out of this. It's just a thought. The last job I had was working as an IT director for an energy company. TJ, or Mr. Anderson at this time, was my boss. That is how I first met him. He was what some might call a workplace bully. I just called him a prick. He was your everyday alpha male. He would spend half of his day flirting with the women in the office, and the other half telling the men of the office how much he gets laid. Back then, I used to tell people that I hated him. In hindsight, I didn't hate him. I just strongly disliked him. Currently, I do hate him. I hate him enough to put his .60 caliber musket ball into his dopey head. The company Christmas party. That's when this whole snowball of a situation began. Against my better judgment, I brought my wife, Helen. I didn't want to bring her because she was attractive. I knew that Mr. Anderson and all of the others like him would stare at her like she was some piece of meat. And then they would look at me and snicker amongst themselves, saying things like, "How does a guy like that get a woman like her?" She wanted to come, so I brought her.
What's up, man?
What's happening, Santa?
Oh, just trying to keep everybody happy on the holidays. How you doing?
TJ introduced himself to her, and they talked for a while. That made me uncomfortable. But he did refrain from insulting me while she was there, which was a relief.
Woo!
we got home that evening, Helen told me that she had had a good time and that she liked the people I work with. The next couple of weeks, TJ wasn't around the office much, which was nice, and when he was actually pretty nice to me. One day, Helen broke the news to me. TJ and her were sleeping together, and they were in love. I didn't handle that conversation very well. I moved out of our home in suburbia, and TJ moved in. That was the real kick in the tits. TJ moved in. Why wouldn't Helen move in with him? He made 4 times what I made in a year. You would think he would have some luxury high-rise apartment or a home with a vanishing pool. Well, I didn't hang around for the answer to that one. I spent a couple of nights in a motel. I needed to find a new job because I sure as hell wasn't going back to the office. Helen wasn't answering any of my calls, and I really needed to gather the rest of my things. One evening, I had had enough. I got in my car and drove home. When I rang the bell, TJ answered. He didn't want to let me in. I didn't take too kindly to that, and the rum I had been drinking really helped me express myself. That's when the fight happened. Now, I don't know much about TJ, but I can't assume the man has some anger issues based on the way things went. After about a minute, I didn't even try to put up a fight. That didn't stop him from punching me. He nearly killed me. And that's how I lost my eye. No job meant no more insurance. No more insurance meant a ridiculously high medical bill. And that medical bill, long story short, left me setting up camp underneath a bridge. That's how things went down. I'm not mad at life. Shit happens. I've come to terms with that. I've come to terms with a lot of things. I've come to terms with the fact that I married a horrible human being. The fact that Helen stayed with TJ after what he did to me speaks a lot about her character. She took a lot from me, but I guess I'll be taking something from her too. Anyway, I know that if a lot of people were to hear my story, they would see me as the underdog. I'm not the underdog. I'm a goddamn pirate, and I'm going to kill TJ Anderson. The downside to the flintlock pistol is that you only have one shot. You fire, and then you have to reload. I learned that lesson the hard way. I'm not proud to admit that tonight isn't my first attempt to kill TJ. It was a couple of months back. I waited inside the old work parking garage. TJ was always so territorial when it came to his parking space. Seemed like a reasonable place to catch him off guard. And honestly, it was. I saw him get off the elevator. He was walking to his car, completely oblivious to the danger he was in. I aimed, squeezed the trigger, and missed. Son of a bitch. In my defense, my aim has never quite been the same since I lost my eye. That's no excuse. I'm not proud of my failure, but I'll own it. So I ran. I wasn't going to hang around and let him knock out my other eye. No way. After that, I knew I could never go back to the parking garage. I'm sure there were several appropriate security measures taken to ensure that no outsiders could get in. And honestly, I was a little worried that TJ and Helen would make my plan B a little more difficult. I figured they would move somewhere new, or at least install some high-tech security system. Maybe get a pit bull or a Rottweiler. Do something to make sure I could never get that close again. You know what they did? They put a peephole in the front door. A peephole? That's it? In a way, I'm offended that he doesn't see me as more of a threat. But he'll have time to reevaluate that decision once he's in the ground. Every time I make this walk, it's the same. Just as I begin to realize that my legs are becoming sore, I see it. The street Helen and I lived on for 6 years. A neighborhood free of crime, free of poverty. A place where families can raise their children and feel safe. I feel confident about this. I was nervous in the parking garage, but here I'm at home. No more thoughts. Just stick to the plan. Ring the doorbell. Don't ring it twice. What's happening now is Helen is telling TJ to go see who it is. Give him time to put some pants on. Just wait. The light's on. Who could be ringing their doorbell at such a late hour of the night? Don't be nervous. Now just wait for the porch light, Steve. Simple. Deep breath. Wait for the porch light. Wait for the porch light. Now, I have no idea what tomorrow will bring. What consequences are in store for me if the police find me. All I know is, you were wrong, talk radio. You were wrong.